I apologize for not having a nice snazzy little background that, for Cocaine Bear. So we're gonna have to stick with the background of the video store for this one. But okay. Yep. Make sure you do your line.
Wow.
Get you through the. Yeah, Jay's a little dark.
This was a swag.
I am dark.
This was a swag from my screening.
Nice.
Is that a straw or?
It is a straw of a rolled up $100 bill.
I was gonna say it's really long. It almost looks like an arrow or something.
No, it is a giant straw for a giant bear.
I will say, I'll throw a spoiler out there. We do not condone drug use, folks, on this podcast. There was no cocaine. Well, I won't say that. Ray Liotta was on set, so I was gonna say there was no real. Rest
cocaine.
in peace, Ray Liotta.
Yeah, and mine is from Powder Donuts. So don't think. I mean, if I could afford to have this much stuff on my face, I probably would be doing something else right now.
Gotcha.
That's a lot of money.
I gotta ask though, because I saw your pictures from the street. Did anybody say anything, or what kind of reaction did you get from your
oh my
your
God,
booger sugar on your
my stuff has been blowing up. Like my video, my intro video they did has gotten over like 1,000 views.
Oh, really?
And yeah, everyone's loving the photos. They're like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's like, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm not coked up out of my mind. And plus, who would do it like this? I mean, the only person who would have this much cocaine after doing cocaine on their face would be a dumb bear. Because I mean, come on, that's just. I mean, I am not Tony Montana. Say hello to my little friend.
Right. But no, I watched your video too, and it was so funny.
Very funny.
You were like talking so fast, like you couldn't. You were so coked out.
It's great. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. And it's going to be great.
It was pretty believable. It was funny. So, all right.
I'm available for acting. So, yeah.
Hashtag the blonde in front.
There you go.
All right. So, all right. Well, welcome back. Postmortem Radio. We took a little break. We were cranking them out about once a week there for a little bit. We had some good momentum, some good traction, some good shows out there. Seen a few people getting some numbers are not bad, but come on, keep listening. Everybody who's tuning in and watching, we appreciate it. We love your faces. Be sure to share us, and make sure you like that. Hit the like button. It really helps the algorithm, helps support the channel. Appreciate it. But here we are back again. This is one we talked a little bit about on the last episode that we just had to get to do this as soon as possible. It's been bugging me because I wanted to do this days ago, like right after I watched the episode. But we are here to talk about Cocaine Bear. And I tell you what, I once in a while a movie comes along that, when I watched the trailer, it just, I was cracking up. And I just said, I have got to see this movie. It looks and sounds so ridiculous that it's just so ridiculous that it's good. And I just had to see it. And Brandon and I can't remember what film we were seeing when we saw the trailer, but we came home and I was in the car telling him, I said, man, you know what? I'm going to have to pull this trailer up on my phone, because when I get home and tell Janelle about the trailer for this movie, she's going to think that I'm just totally full of shit. She's going to say that there's no way that this is a premise for a real movie. It's got to be like a fan-made goof spoof or something. So I pulled it up and I said, yeah, I can't, there's nothing I can say about it. Just watch it. That's all I can tell you to do. And she was the same way. She's like, we got to see that. And I couldn't wait. And I gotta say, man, it's probably one of the most so far this year. I think it may have been the most fun movie I think I've been to this year. Just because, I mean, it's not the best movie I've seen this year, and it's not But I mean, I think I had the best time watching this movie. It was just a good, fun. It doesn't take itself seriously, and that's the best thing about it. It's just balls to the wall, ridiculous, and comedy. That's all I can say about it. I mean, go see it if you want to just check out and have a good laugh. That's really all I can say. I mean, there's so much about this movie that just worked. And is this Elizabeth Banks' first directing?
No,
It's not her first direct. Okay.
no.
Because I didn't know when I saw that she was a director, I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, Kerry Russell was great. Ray Liotta, I think this was his last. Was this his last on screen?
Yes.
I believe Blackbird was his last one, and this was filmed before Blackbird. I could be wrong about that though, but it's definitely one of his last on screen.
Okay. O'Shea Jackson was hysterical in it as well. Everybody knows him as mini Ice Cube. I mean, the entire cast. I mean, Ray Liotta was, typical Ray Liotta. I mean, I'll kick it. We'll kick it over to Katie. Let her kick it off first.
Should we do the recap of what the film's about? I mean,
unless Jay wants to chime in or something real quick.
No, go ahead.
It's a little dark there, Jay. You got it.
It's spooky.
Yeah,
I know. I'm doing my 1985 filter, guys.
Yeah, okay. I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Well,
right,
one of the best things I can say about Cocaine Bear is that honestly, there's no like metaphor out, anything like deep hidden meaning. I mean, it is Cocaine Bear. It's a movie about a bear that does cocaine. There's no like hidden meanings. There's no let's look into the biopic and what was the method and all stuff. Like, it is a bear that does cocaine, people die, and a story, and it's funny. Based on a true story of a
very loosely
yeah, very loosely based. I mean, the premise starts where there's this crazy guy who is Kerry Russell's husband in real life. And I forget his name. He's also an actor, but he is on a plane. He is doing the drug drop where I think they start in Miami. They're landing in St. Louis or something. And he's dropping the drugs in the Chattahoochee area of Georgia. He unfortunately lands with his parachute not opening, so he dies. He's dead. And then all of a sudden, all these people who want the drugs and don't know where the drugs are, they go to the woods and they find a bunch of drugs, but they've been opened. Oh, spoiler, a bear got into the cocaine. And then some hilarious things ensue. Anyone who's like been out in the woods, been like, oh, look at the animals, do that. Oh, yeah, this is definitely one of those films that it's like, don't go in nature and think you can mess with nature. Nature will bite your ass. Like, actually, it will kill you. It will kill you hard. I thought, like Oz said, the cast is great. I mean, one of my favorite duos in it was Margot Martindale and Jesse Tyler Ferguson. She does this line, or he does this line where it's like, oh, you're beavers. You got a dusty beaver. And she's like, yeah, I'm working on that. I died hearing that because there's a little bit of sexual tension there. And I thought that was hilarious. I think that the carnage and the comedy and the cocaine is honestly, it's pretty even. I mean, I was not expecting some of the kills that came out of this, but there is some blood. There's also somewhat of like 4 side stories that like actually really they blend together very well, which I mean, kudos to Elizabeth Banks for doing that. This is not a film that's going to win any awards besides maybe some MTV awards and stuff like that.
Yeah, fans choice type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the CGI great? No. I mean, all those people that worked on Avatar, guess what? Your jobs are safe. You don't have to worry. We know this is a bear. It's not like this is going to win any awards. Like, oh my gosh, it looks so real. I think that it kind of has a slower moment where it's sort of trying to get like serious with family and, taking, relationships and stuff like that. Did I think that needed it? Maybe not. But at the same time, it kind of needed to like simmer down now on the ridiculousness, which I thought was fine. It's cool seeing Brooklyn Prince, who's in one of my favorite movies, The Florida Project, and then the little boy who played Sweet Tooth on the Netflix show Sweet Tooth. They're growing up, and I think that's great because I love seeing them. But seriously, there are some really freaking funny moments in this. One of my favorite scenes from a film this year, and honestly, probably the past year and a half to two, is the scene in the ambulance that is just, I was dying laughing during this scene.
She came out on the gurney.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
face onto
like, this person comes out on the gurney, and then they've got freaking road rash for a good 100 feet. The bear jumps into the ambulance, kills one. It's like, okay, we're spoiling it. Yeah, but I mean, it's Cocaine Bear.
Spoiler. You shouldn't be listening if you haven't watched it yet anyway.
Yeah. So. But I mean, it is funny. I felt like there was a little bit of Zombieland in that scene, which I thought was great. But is this a perfect movie? No. There's a number of scenes where it's like it starts out with this aerial view and then comes down to where the actual action and scenes are, which I thought was a little bit choppy and just didn't. It's like that could have been like fine-tuned and edited better. But yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of crap going around right now. It's snowing in California. There's like 8 feet of snow in different places. We've got damn alien balloons all over the place. Go see this film just to like take your mind off everything. It's just dumb fun, which honestly, it's nice to go to the movies and do that. I love the fact that when I was with a packed house, and I mean packed, everybody was laughing. And I mean, maybe not everybody. There's 1 or 2 people that I know hated this, but the majority of it, the 99% of people were laughing because it's just a fun, dumb movie. And it's got a great 80, it's set in 85, so it's got that 80s soundtrack.
Yes, the soundtrack was amazing. I loved the music.
Now, that was one of the things. This does not come with it. Don't think you're going to get any of this stuff.
You gotta sneak that in yourself.
I know.
But yeah, I thought Margot Martindale, I thought she was, I was really surprised with how much she stole the show a little bit for me. Oh
my God. Every scene she was in, just give her everything. I love her. She's an amazing character actress. Definitely.
And there's even, well, I'm sorry. I'll let Jay have a few minutes. Come out of the darkness. Come to the light.
Folks, I'm in a cave right now. Cocaine Bear is somewhere back there reporting right here because guess what? For all you folks out there, Ireland is a great place because this film was shot in Ireland. Let's throw that out first there, all right? Beautiful locations, beautiful countryside. Nonetheless, I say in jest, Oz, to think it's the best movie, you are definitely snorting cocaine. I will say that.
I didn't say the best movie. I said it was the best time.
No. So with that being said, I enjoyed it. I agree with both Oz and Katie on this. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it shut your brain off, bubblegum, horror, comedy, action, even a little bit. I mean, it's just a ton of fun, and the performances are great. We finally find out what happened to Felicity after she cut her hair. She ended up in Cocaine Bear, folks. I mean, it's pretty great. that you can take a core concept, in this case, based on a kernel of whatever it was, and really write a great story. I think his name's Jimmy Warden, who's the screenwriter on this. Tremendous. Elizabeth Banks, she's always had a great wit about her. She's always known comedy, so she's able to understand how to really bring different layers of comedy to it, which I was very happy to see, because I also saw the trailer. We saw it many times. We have the A-list, and we go a lot to the movies. And when I first saw it, my partner Susan was like on her phone, and I watched it. I said, oh my God, this is going to be great. And she watched it the next time we went in there, and she loved it. Is it for everyone? Yes, it is. Yeah. It is. It's a movie we can say is literally for, even the gore and the kills aren't too exploitive. I mean, it's great effects work when it comes to practical. The road rash on her face is wonderful. The way the bear rips people apart, you know, Katie, I can't help but agree with you. The family storyline is really not needed. It's not. You could make that movie pretty much. You want to cut 5 minutes out of it, 10 minutes out of it, make it an 80-minute movie. I'm all for that, folks. So, you know, the family thing's really not needed, but overall, it's just a fun time. You go there, it's a great date movie. The effects aren't even as good as they were in Beast. Okay, Beast had the lion there. You know, it's not even close. But the bear, you know, you're going in with the fact that it's going to be a bear. You understand, and I honestly don't know, Katie or Oz, maybe you can answer this, if there was any real bears on set for this. Because
I don't think so. I didn't see anything. No. I didn't see anything that made me think it was a real bear. Even the cubs, and that's something that I was going to get to a little bit later. Even those didn't look, didn't make me think that there was any kind of real bears there at all.
Okay, well, I didn't know I didn't get a chance to check. But if you like animal exploitation films, if you like comedy, you like horror, you like action, I mean, this is perfect. And it's now going to open up a wave. Up next, Meth Gator, folks. Meth Gator! It's already in development. We can't wait. And soon we're going to have jackalope joints, and we're going to have all
jackalope joints,
catnip films. I mean, you know, this is going to be animal exploitation in the greatest sense. You know, we got over our COVID phase. We're moving now into the animal exploitation phase. It's going to be incredible, but just a fun movie. And I think the real hero, and hopefully we'll talk a little bit more about this, is the editor. The editor is the real hero on this film, because he was able to put together a pretty cohesive narrative with all the stuff that they shot. Because, again, there's a lot of side plots in this film, more than I thought there really was going to be. And, again, we didn't need the family one. You could have trimmed down on the drug one. You know, you could have just had people in the woods with a non-descriptive drug drop, and it just goes from there. And it could have been a little more brutal. But Elizabeth Banks, Jimmy Warren, they all meshed this so well, and it's so much fun. It's worth seeing, and especially for all you youngins out there, it's a great date movie.
The synergy with all those subplots that just came together so nicely. I mean, I have to give them credit for that, because I was a little like, how are they going to connect this with this and this without it being so obvious? But I think they did a pretty good job, and I personally am looking forward to Pot Platypus. You know, I'm hoping, cross my fingers, you know,
there'll be a new remake of The Lion King.
God,
can you sniff the drugs tonight? But actually, to add, Katie, off of what you just said, you know, one of the things that they do really well, and I'm assuming it's a collaborative effort when they're writing this script to be able to do this, because again, Elizabeth Banks, tremendous job directing this film. Don't get me wrong. It could have been messed up in 100 different ways. They didn't allow it to happen. They allowed the campiness, allowed everything. But the dialogue also, when the little kid there, the one from Sweet Tooth, is saying, you know, that can stick with a man. I mean, his lines are so crisp, the delivery. You know, the comic timing is beautiful, and it really balances. We always talk about horror, how there's a thin line between the laugh and the scream. this is a great balance between the two, because every time you see it ripped apart, even the opening scene when the couple's out there in the woods and they're shooting the bear, and the bear comes up and it's just stalking, it's not attacking, it's working its way up there. The lines between the couple are flipping brilliant. It's just it's a great job across the board with this. You can find lots of faults with it. You know, you could sit there. We talked about the CGI. You know, you talk about how campy it is. I'll tell you what, it's got better CGI than maybe Ant-Man. I'm just saying.
I would disagree on that.
Shots fired.
I greatly disagree.
I'm sorry, but the box office is better. My bad.
But yeah, what you were talking about, the dialogue, I thought the dialogue between the kids was hilarious. I mean, I know we've got the bear who's like ripping people's legs off, which from the beginning, it's like, wow, it's just going to be like legs being thrown away. I mean, it seems like that was like the first 2 kills, and then they just really went for it. But the scene that scared me the most, and again, I'm spoiling. There's a scene where the 2 kids, who I think are 11?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, they find a brick of cocaine.
Right, I love it.
Yeah, the little boy is like, oh yeah, I've done this. She's like, really? So you've done cocaine? He's like, oh yeah, totally. So they open up they take the knife, open up the cocaine. He scoops up a thing of cocaine that is a big ass pot. I mean, and then
that was a monster bump for sure.
Yeah, he puts it in his mouth. That to me was the scariest part of the film, because if this was at all real, both those kids would be dead. I mean, you do not ingest that much cocaine.
Well, the funny thing is about this being the, like Jay said, the kernel of reality is that, you know, if this was based in reality, the true story was the cocaine. The bear did eat the cocaine and it died. That's what's going to happen when you ingest. That's why, you know, when they smuggle it, you know, they put them in the balloons and swallow them and all that kind of. You cannot do that. It just does not go well.
No.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Greg.
No, you're right though. 30 minutes, and they have the stuffed bear. I think it's in Kentucky that the bear
was in Kentucky
sitting in there, and it's hilarious to think that, you know, they could do this. But that's one of the great things about what I'll go a little bit on the other side when it comes to screenwriting. That's one of the wonderful things when you sit down and you start to learn how to write as a screenwriter. You get these prompts, you get these ideas, you go through these exercises, and imagine that. So what's your topic? Cocaine and a bear. I mean, it just shows that maybe not everyone can do it, but obviously they had fun doing this. I mean, you can see it through and through in what they're able to do and what they're able to take with that small kernel and develop it into a multi-layered story. It's not going to win awards. I agree with you. And maybe you might win some Razzies. You know, it might win those if they haven't canceled the Razzies by now.
I think those are canceled by now.
Whatever. I'm sorry. If you're an actor or a performer or an actress and you go in there, you take the chance people are going to love you or hate you. I'm sorry.
Yep.
No, it's only fair. I'm not saying it's fair what happened to her, but that's what you go into. I mean, what's going to happen with the bear now? Is the bear going to complain because it's going to get a worse picture of the year? Or, you know, we have to think of everyone now. I'm just saying.
All I know is that I can't unknow the fact that teenagers will now be known as pubes to me, because I think that was one of the funniest things, again, that I've seen. And the fact that I understand why they call them pubes, because they're pubescent kids. But I'm like, that's freaking brilliant. Like, why has no one thought of that before? Thank you. That is amazing.
Well, you know, and the funny thing too is with the I can visualize and see the conference room with, you know, Elizabeth Banks and the you know, just sitting around and talking about this, like, you know, okay, well, what if the bear didn't die? Well, you know, what story can we make? What if the bear didn't die and it just went on this total, super cocaine high rampage, and let's see how ridiculous we can get. The only thing that I started thinking halfway through this movie that would have made this even better is if I was like, why in the fuck isn't Samuel L. Jackson in this movie?
Oh, please, no. Please stop. Stop.
Hey,
No.
does it not
Jackson
seem like
can't be
something
there.
he would do? It seems like something he would do.
But you know what? And I was just thinking about that, Oz.
That probably would have ruined it, though, honestly.
Kerry Russell, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, a handful. There's no real big names in this film. Ray Liotta is obviously was on death's door. I mean, you look at him and that was one of the things in the trailer. When I saw him and the way he looked, I went, ooh, oh boy. And you knew that he was ill. You knew that he was on his way out. But there's no big names in this, and that makes me wonder something. It makes me wonder, how long did this sit around before it finally got picked up by a studio? I think it was Universal who handled this one. But how long did it take, and how many people turned it down? How many people looked at it and went, you know what?
I'm sure
I'm not doing a film about a flipping cocaine bear. Okay, it's not happening. But you know what? It's going to end up winning the box office for quite a while. I'm sorry, but it really is.
Let me ask you this. Do you see a sequel on there anywhere in this feature, you think?
I hope not. Please no. Please no.
I hope not too, but.
Oh my God.
No, I don't. This isn't a franchise.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost your audio.
Sci-fi.
There we go.
I would say sci-fi.
It's a few steps above sci-fi, but no, this isn't a film that should have a sequel. Like, it's a one and done, good time, laugh, talk about it, buy a bear head mask and, do some powdered donuts and, it's going to be great for Halloween. It's going to be great for Halloween and all that stuff. Yeah. But I mean, is this a franchise film by any means? No. And if someone, it's like, come on, stop. No, please don't. Please don't. I mean, what, like if the bear cubs end up taking over where mom left off, Cocaine Bear 2, Bearmageddon, all
Cocaine
that stuff.
Bears.
Well done. I like that. Bearmageddon. I like that.
Bearmageddon.
That's one thing too that I thought was really, the scene with the Cubs. When Ray Liotta was totally, kicking those Cubs, and he did a great job of turning it around to make you are rooting for the bear at that point. It's like, where's Mama Bear at? I want to see her tear this dude's.
I was rooting for the bear the entire time. Are you kidding me?
I was kind of rooting for the bear the entire time too.
Well, I didn't want him to get
the park ranger, except when they were in the park ranger building. Like Margot Martindale, her little, everything that happened to her, I was like, come on, man, don't do that. But otherwise, I hope the pubes get eaten. I hope the tourists were like, oh my gosh, look at this nature. Let's take pictures and all that stuff. It's like, right. It's like, just go away, stay, far, far away. But I was rooting for the bear.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And I gotta say, I loved the little, did you guys, how many people did you in the theater did you see get up and miss the extra scenes afterwards? Did you?
A couple.
There was quite a few.
You don't expect some stuff like Marvel, but it's like,
right.
I don't think it's going to be a post-credit and then, pre-credit scene and then a post-credit scene.
Right.
But in any film, I'm always waiting to the end because I never know what's going to happen, but there were a number of people who missed it, but big dummies. I don't care.
Because I gotta say, the one that I would say would be the biggest miss was by far, when O'Shea Jackson said, well, they weren't going to attach him anyway. It ate his, I guess, his detached fingers. I thought that was pretty. That was definitely a solid belly laugh there for me.
But I'll throw something out here based on what you two brought up about the post-credit scenes. I didn't watch the post-credit scenes. We finished with the credits, we left. And I think that's what the magic of this film is. Will the film stick in our conscience probably not more than maybe over the next few months, maybe at the end of the year, because it definitely has horror roots. So it might make some lists, for how well it was done. But to be honest, it's the right place and right time. It's a perfect placement of the film. It's in the first quarter, and a lot of films that are very risky. A lot of M. Night Shyamalan films play in the first quarter. A lot of Blumhouse, that's not no names, play in the first quarter. Just to say, and even now it looks like some Marvel films are playing in the first quarter, because we're not sure what they're going to be doing now after what happened to Ant-Man 3. But the point being is that it's a good film. It might end up one day being a cult film, a midnight film, which would be wonderful for it. But is it going to stick long after that? No, because your investment is the 90 minutes and you leave. There's nothing that makes, at least in my opinion, nothing that makes you want to invest any further in this franchise. And it's not trying to knock the work that was done. Again, making movies is really difficult to do. And to make one, to pull this off, is pretty amazing. But you know what? It is what it is. It doesn't need a franchise. It doesn't need more lines to snort. It doesn't need a cinematic drug-induced animal universe. It doesn't need any of it, like our friend Katie here is doing. It's like exactly. Make sure you get in all the gums, okay? But Oz, it's not really needed any more than this, and I think that's one of the reasons that you have also.
Is that the bear in behind you there?
Yeah.
Oh my God! No!
What the hell was that?
I don't know.
I don't know if he flushed the toilet, or was that a bear growling, or
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm looking around.
But no, I totally agree. I just know that this has been like more of a hit than people anticipated. So right away, I know there's idiots out there that are going to be thinking, "Oh, there needs to be a sequel." Right?
No.
And I hate that. I hate when you take something, you caught lightning in a bottle. This was like you said, Jay. It was a perfect timing. Just kind of all the stars just kind of came up together with this, and they pulled it off. It was like a It was just it was a one shot, and it happened to work. And I think you just take it for a ride and enjoy it for what it is. And anything more than that is going to be way over the top.
What, Katie?
One, that was perfect timing. I don't know if you meant to do that, Oz, when you did that over the top, and then you just itched your nose like that.
Yes.
Okay, good. One, I could actually see this being a midnight screening.
Yep.
Within the next 6 months, and also one of those movies where different theaters, when they have like theme nights, they do little things like drink when they say cocaine, or drink when have some popcorn when someone gets a limb thrown at you and stuff like that. I mean,
absolutely,
this is one of those films that's like that, which you don't see that often. Or at least not in mainstream theaters. So that's, again, another reason why I love it.
I think drive-ins it'd be good. When the weather starts warming up, this would be a great one for drive-ins.
Oz, I think that's a great point, because it's making a lot of money. It's obviously going to do well over what it took to be able to make this overseas. It'll probably do relatively well. But Oz, this is a movie you can re-release later on, before you go ahead and maybe do more of an unrated cut where there is even more blood, guts, and gore that happen to make it a little bit more raunchy. You could do something like that. I mean, the sky's limits for the second value.
What I really want to see is, if this comes out to Blu-ray and it does not have a gag reel, I'm going to be
it will. Are you
disappointed?
I mean,
it has to have a gag reel.
I feel like those scenes with Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Margot Martindale, I feel like they had to actually do a lot of those, because it just seems like they were just laughing every time they were trying to get those lines out. And I've seen a couple of things like behind the scenes after I watched the film where they show like that scene where they both get attacked and stuff, and they're just dying laughing. So yeah, if it doesn't have a gag reel, that's really disappointing, because this just whole thing just looks so funny, especially when since I'm on my phone, Alden Ehrenreich, when when the bear actually falls on him.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, one, I want to know what that was that fell on him. Two, that he says a line. It's like, yeah, I know it's a girl. Why? Because his vagina's in my ear.
Yes, that's a great line.
Again, these lines that I'm like, this is ridiculous. Who's gonna say the bear's vagina is in my ear? Like, come on.
Yeah, I think Jay said something about the dialogue earlier. I mean, whoever, it's definitely top notch, and I definitely can see that Elizabeth Banks definitely had her wit and her style of humor input into some of the dialogue, I think, for sure, and the delivery. The cast. I mean, that's why I want to see a gag reel. So because a lot of times they just, they'll say just throw out just a bunch of different things to say, and we'll see what works, we'll see what we stick with. And I love to see those kind of scenes on gag reels where they just spit out these different lines, and just to see what they end up going with. And a lot of times it's hysterical. So I can't wait. And hopefully we get a good. The only thing that I hate is when they give you a gag reel and it's like 2 minutes long. I like a good lengthy, whether it's people sneezing or outtakes or whatever. I love to see that behind the scenes screw up stuff, or people can't stop laughing, whatever it is. I love that stuff. There's times where I bought Blu-rays just because it had a gag reel.
I agree with you on that. I agree. And one thing I'll also throw out there, and it also falls into a category of films that we don't see a whole lot anymore because people are so afraid of saying things that are going to get them canceled, or saying things, because I'm sorry to say this, but if this was someone that wasn't Elizabeth Banks who was directing this, might it have a different reaction? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But the point of what I'm saying is that if you go back several decades, you couldn't make a lot of the films then now. And Cocaine Bear fits perfectly in a niche here where it's not too over the top. It doesn't push the boundaries too much. And it's something that works. It's just, again, right time, right place, right everything. Everything fall perfectly in the place all the way through the promotion with the film now and everything. But it makes you kind of think, obviously they have a lot of things working for them, but this is a film that goes back to the Naked Gun series. It goes back to a lot of those comedy films, Airplane, where you've got this really quick and snappy dialogue, these jokes that land because it's deadpan. It's not being done, with a smart face. It's being done with a deadpan attempt at it, and it works, but it's a rarity. There's not a whole lot of films that do that anymore. Even if you go back, a decade ago to the 40-Year-Old Virgin or some of the other films, I mean, think about it. You start to wonder now if any of those films could even be made or made to the level there. Sausage Party is a great example of that. I mean, the people behind Sausage Party, you think about it, you wonder, So again, another reason why the magic is there for Cocaine Bear, because they're able to do it, and they're able to sell it, and they're able to package it and make people love it. Even if it only lasts a little bit, they're able to make people love it and fall into that little niche.
I love Sausage Party.
It's a great movie.
It's funny.
It's a great movie,
funny.
So funny.
It is definitely. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know what else could be left to be said about Cocaine Bear. I mean, there's just so many funny scenes and lines. I mean, I think obviously all three, it's going to be unanimous here. All three of us are going to say,
yep,
go see it. I mean, if you have any sense of humor whatsoever, I mean, you've got to go see this movie. Unless you just literally really don't have a sense of humor, you may not, or then that's why I agree. This movie is forever. I mean, just about anyone, any varying sense of it can go and at least at least, I mean, if you can't have a good time seeing this movie, then something's wrong with you, I think. That's the way I look at it. And you, like I said, it's not a long movie. You're in and out. It's what's 90 minutes, 95 minutes.
Yep.
You're in and out. I mean, it's a good time, good popcorn movie. You're gonna have a few laughs.
A few lines. I mean,
Yeah. Bears, blood, belly laughs. Don't blow it. Go and see Cocaine Bear.
Just snort it, baby. Just snort it. But I'll throw something out also. I've talked to a lot of filmmakers in my years, a lot of filmmakers, especially in horror. And the hardest thing for many of them is comedy and horror, because it's so challenging to be able to do it. So give credit to the team behind it. Give credit, because Elizabeth Banks has acted in so many films and programs and has learned from some of the great masters. And she applies that craft so well. And her and Jimmy Warden, as well as, every level. So for filmmakers, go see this, because you'll learn about editing, you'll learn about timing, you'll learn about how they're able to pull off some really cool effects, both practical as well as virtual. So it can really be an educational experience for you as well as an entertaining one.
Yeah.
And that's a really good point, Jay, because a lot, like we've always said, there's a fine line between horror and, a laugh and a scare.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of, and I say a lot, I mean, a lot of films that, you're right on the cusp. I mean, and this one is just about perfect, because if you have too many laughs, you lose it. You got to have just enough, but not too much. And you can't go you can't go too overboard with the comedy, but, and this one is almost like a perfect mixture of comedy and just an outrageous story with some good gore and kills, and I won't say CGI, but
well, I don't know. I hope
it wasn't
okay
terrible,
that
but
road
it
rash.
wasn't. Yeah, that was. I mean,
that was great.
That was probably the effect of the movie right there. That one, because that was the
my
one.
favorite scene.
That was the one that when I saw that scene, we were all like, "Oh, man," almost. I mean, it's and believe it or not, this is one. I mean, I actually can't wait to go see it again.
Nice.
My oldest son didn't get to go see it. He works a crazy schedule, so he didn't get to go with us. So, and he's been really wanting to see it. So I'm going to probably go and see it a second time with him. But it's definitely not one that I would say is, if you want to see it more than one, because I pick up a lot of things more the second time I see it. But you got to at least give it a shot once. I mean, you won't regret it. At least I don't believe so.
Yeah. And go ahead, Kate.
Oh, no. I mean, it's like I said before, it's a perfect blend of carnage, comedy, and cocaine. I mean, it's even keel on all three, and it's blended together. And that's really difficult to do, but I think they did it in a fantastic way.
Thank you, Joel Negron, for your incredible editing skills. And he's done stuff like Thor Ragnarok. He's done just stuff, big pictures. So he has a big idea of how to handle even smaller indie pictures like this, which is wonderful.
Well, and I could be wrong, but I think they even, I thought this was originally supposed to come out in April. And I thought last November or something, they said they were moving it up to February, which says, with all the films that have come out and stuff like that. I mean, I know someone said like with Megan, with Barbarian, with a few others that are just like totally taking it to extremes and like out there. I mean, Cocaine Bear, this is a perfect time for it to just like come out in the year. And I think I'm glad they didn't wait until April for it to come out.
I agree with you. I can agree with you more, Katie.
Me too. And what's interesting is, March is the month that kicks off, the whole convention season for signings and things like that. And I'm really anxious to see how many cosplays this is going to be represented for Cocaine Bear at some of the conventions that I frequent. So kind of interested to see if I'm going to see some of those. Because I can honestly see, I can see some people that, some of the Comic Cons and stuff where you've seen Godzilla walking around.
Yep.
I could easily see somebody, putting a bear costume together, throwing some blood on it and a little bit of booger sugar. And hey, I'm Cocaine Bear.
I love it.
Do you think anyone would be Tony Berenstein instead of Tony Montana?
Oh, I would love that. Well said. Well said.
Wouldn't that be good?
All right. So you got Berenstain Bears. You can have the mama shooting up needles.
Oh my God. I think we have an idea for my whole family. We're going to all dress up as bear, the Berenstein Bears.
Nice.
We're all going
to have all drugged up.
We're all going to have cocaine mustaches.
Well, whatever convention you go to, request Cocaine Bear right now.
That's right.
Absolutely.
The photo op with Cocaine Bear, Kerry Russell, Jesse Ferguson. That would be great.
Amazing.
That would be hysterical.
Yes.
Get those dusty beavers out and go to Cocaine Bear.
Amen. Well said.
All right. Well, thanks for listening to us on this one with our cocaine fueled rampage and ramblings. Make sure to drop your comments. Let us know what you think. Did you like Cocaine Bear? What did you think? Let us know. And we'll see. We love all your faces. We'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.
See ya.